Hello, brothers and sisters. This is Immaculate Tolerant. Well, we are going to continue with the book of Titus. I hope everyone is doing well. I send you my greetings. I love you guys and thank you for always listening to me. Well, we started off learning the book of Titus. We've talked about the author, the person who wrote the book. We've talked about the reason for writing. We've talked about when it was written. And right now, we want to look at the problems that were going on. What was going on in this book? Why did Paul leave Titus in Crete? And what was really happening? You know, there is no letter that was written without a reason. Everything that was written, Paul was responding to something that was really happening. And so now, without taking more time, when we go to Titus, chapter 1, verse 4, Paul is saying, that's why I left you in Crete. So we see that in Crete, there was a problem. Number one problem was there were no elders in the church. Most of the people that were there, they had weird characters. And so Titus is left in Crete to appoint elders and to put the right elders in the church. Not just appoint, but appoint the right elders to manage the church in Crete, meaning that there were no elders. Okay? So that is number one. The second thing that was happening is that we see in verse 12 of chapter 1, it says that the Cretans are liars, as one of their prophets have said. He said one of the Cretans' own prophets have said that Cretans are always liars, evil brutes, and lazy gluttons. So Titus was left there to deal with these very difficult people. They were not easy people. And what is Titus supposed to do? He says in verse 13 that therefore rebuke them sharply so that they will be sound in faith. So Titus has a responsibility in this place. He's supposed to rebuke the Cretans because the Cretans are liars, they're lazy, they're gluttons, they don't want to work. And so Titus remaining there is to sort out these issues, to make sure that the believers there are walking in sound doctrine. The third thing that was happening was that the circumcision party, those are the Jews. The Jews were causing chaos as well. As you know, wherever they go, their belief is, unless one is circumcised, cannot be born again. And so Titus is faced with these people, and that is why in verse 14 of chapter 1, Paul is telling Titus that, and pay no attention to Jewish myth or to the merely human commands of those who reject the truth. Because the Jews reject the truth. For them, they think that people must live like them, wanted the Gentiles to live like them, to follow the Jewish rituals, the Jewish customs, to be born again. And Paul is saying, do not pay attention to that, because that is no longer necessary, because we are saved by grace. And that is what leads us to what we call the key verse. Now, the key verse is the verse in the book that summarizes that book. In this case, the key verse is chapter 2, verse 11 and 12, which says that the grace of God has appeared that offers salvation to all people, not only to the Jews. Remember, the problem here is the Jews. And so the grace of God has appeared for the salvation of all people, not only to the Jews, and teaches us to say no to ungodliness and to worldly passions, and to live self-controlled and upright and godly lives in this present age. So as believers, when we are saved by grace to live righteously, And so when you put these two verses together, it basically summarizes, the book of Titus. We are saved by grace. This grace has come for the salvation of everyone, not only for the few elect that, like the Jews claim, because they claim that they were the only chosen people. But Paul is trying to contradict that, saying salvation has come for everyone by the